have been taken in the past 3 years. Not in any war, not by any disease, but rather by gang violence. Not in any far-off land, but right under our very own noses, at our own border, in La Ciudad Juarez, in Mexico. Now you might ask, who is fighting? Who are these warring factions? The two main factions are the Sinaloa Cartel and La Linea of Juarez. These two groups employ similar strategies, going after the youth in impoverished communities and employing them to fight for them, while the impoverished lay in ruins, essentially, in the city. So you might ask, why is this relevant? What matters that it's Mexico, it's not the United States? For 3 years, 17,000 people have died. It's not a national issue in Mexico anymore, but rather a global issue. Deaths have increased every year, and we need to analyze why it has gotten so drastic. So today, I'll talk about the factors involved in this bloody conflict that have escalated over the years. These include the social problems and educational disadvantages in Mexico, the poor leadership held by President Felipe Calderón, and the U.S. failed intervention. Mexico has always had social problems and educational disadvantages. However, in Ciudad Juarez, it's become particularly worse over the years. According to John Burnett of NPR, 1 out of 3 kids do not go to middle school. The high school average is less than half the national average. Of the 1.3 million residents in Ciudad Juarez, there are not nearly enough jobs, schools, or youth programs to help the community. The gangs see this. They take advantage of these distant youth without any direction. They go in the streets, and these kids who are wandering the streets without playgrounds, without schooling, see these gang members flashing with money, with cars, and giving them an opportunity to actually do something. Maybe, support them with money that they can support their family with. So in their minds, it's the only decision, it's the only logical decision for them. Guerrilla forces discovered in Africa that 13 and 14-year-olds are the most fearless killers. Similarly, these gangs have preyed upon the youth, and they have become their strongest killers. However, this social problem stems from the leadership. Led by Felipe Calderón, according to the U.S. Department of State, drug-related murders since his military approach in 2007 have surpassed over 17,000. He says that it has decreased smuggling, but has only increased other acts of theft, including kidnapping, extortion, and regular theft in terms of stealing cars or robberies. The community has been ravaged by this. The gangs have extorted the businesses, which have gone by 30%. People have fled. So there's absolutely no economic boom or any sort of revenue being generated with the gangs in control. People have to pay weekly quotas, so the gangs have power, and the government is almost without any sort of power, and gangs strike the fear. There's also been incompetence in training and law enforcement. There's been a lack of funding, and according to Richard Serrano of LA Times, there's been corrupt human rights violations by the military, who, when he reports, go into a home and it might not be the right home, and they abuse those people who they think are the criminals. However, it's not only the fault of the leadership, but also our fault as well. We have failed intervention, contributing money towards Mexico in what we've been known as the Merida Initiative. These soldiers that we've trained have actually been recruited by the gangs, and they fight for these Mexican gangs. When they're fighting, they're tactical assassins. They're killing at will for blood money, and this is something that we ourselves have supported. So in conclusion, we've talked about the factors involved in gang violence in Ciudad Juarez, including the social and educational disadvantages, poor leadership within the country, and a failed U.S. intervention. These are all complex issues, and ones that can't be solved easily. but they should bring up important thoughts about our own country. We ourselves are going through our own economic crisis. As we all know, educational prices have skyrocketed. We all know how hard it is going to college, how expensive it is. And while Mexico may seem very far in distance, we are not too unalike. Washington, D.C., in our own backyard, has the second highest gang violence in this country, and is also known as the murder capital of the world. We must heed the lessons of our neighbors to the south. Helping them, we are helping ourselves, and in turn, the future for all of us.